Welcome to the program Learning English. I am Thekla Ozozie, and today we're going to be learning tenses. So, what are tenses? Tenses are the various forms a verb takes to show the time of an action. Now, tenses deal mainly with verbs, and remember that verbs are one of the parts of speech, and we have 8 parts of speech in the English language. So we have 8 parts of speech, of which verbs is one of them, and then tenses are the various forms a verb takes to show the time of an action. So tenses tell us if an action is in the present, in the past, or in the future. So, there are various types of tenses. Now, normally, when they ask you how many tenses there are, you usually say present tense, past tense, future tense. That is not incorrect. There are 3 types of tenses: present tense, past tense, and future tense. But these 3 types of tenses are subdivided into 4 categories. So, on the present tense, we have the present simple and the present continuous or progressive. The present continuous is also known as progressive. And then we have the present perfect and the present perfect continuous. Now, present tense usually refers to things that are happening in the present. Like right now, I am teaching. So this is the present, and present tense talk about the things that are happening now. Now, present simple. This is used for general facts, schedules, or regular action. General facts. The sky is blue. It's a general fact. So I speak English. That's a general fact because I can speak the language. Now, examples of present simple tense are: I speak English. She goes to church every day. That's for regular actions. You know, when things that you do on a daily basis, things that you do regularly or often, you call them regular actions. So she goes to church every day is an example of a present simple tense. So examples: she goes to church every day. This is a regular action, and that makes it the present simple tense. Now, there are also schedules. When you talk about schedules, talk about things that are already arranged, prearranged things. For example, the flight leaves at 6 a.m. every day. So that is a schedule. So that's what makes it the present simple tense. Now, the present continuous or progressive tense. This is used to refer to things happening in the present. Like right now, I am teaching. What am I doing? I am teaching. So it's referring to things that happen in the present. It can also be used to refer to actions that are not yet complete or one-time actions. Example of actions that are not yet complete. Let's say a TV show is playing, is still airing. You can say that TV show is becoming very popular. The TV show hasn't ended, but it's becoming very popular. So it's happening in the present continuous. Now, you can say for one-time actions, things that you don't do all the time. Maybe I don't work on Saturdays, and then I say, I am working this Saturday. I don't work on Saturdays, but because I am going to be working, this Saturday is an exception. That is why it is in the present continuous. I am working this Saturday. Now, we go to the present perfect. The present perfect tense specifies completed actions. Time is not usually specified here. Now, example, I have traveled to Lagos. I didn't say when. So because it is present perfect, I have traveled to Lagos. The time is not specified. Now, the present perfect continuous. This is used for actions that started in the past but are still continuing in the present. Maybe something you started yesterday. You started cooking yesterday, but you have not finished in the present. So you can say, I have been cooking since yesterday. The example I have on the board here is, I have been traveling for 2 days. You have not completed your traveling. You are still on the road. So you can say, I have been traveling for 2 days. This action started in the past, but it has extended to the present. So that is why it is present perfect continuous. Now, you have the past tense. The past tense refers to things that have happened in the past. And just like the present tense, it has 4 categories under it. And we have the past simple. This is used for actions that started and finished in the past. Example, I traveled to Lagos yesterday. It has started and it has ended. It is in the past. So I'm just giving you information. And we can say, I was in school yesterday. You were in school yesterday. Yesterday is the past. So that has started and it has ended. That is it for past simple tense. Now, past continuous. This is used for actions that began in the past and often continued for a short period of time. Now, don't get confused. This action started in the past, but continued for a short period of time in the past. Now, an example is, we were watching football. This tense is usually used to answer questions. Let's take, for instance, your mom traveled, and she comes back and she asks you, what were you doing yesterday? You can say, I was watching football. So it's usually used to answer questions. Now, the past perfect tense. This is used to refer to actions that were completed or not completed at a non-specific point in the past. Now, you're talking about actions that were completed or not completed. You have to think about the positive and the negative aspects now. So you're talking about actions that were completed or not completed at a non-specific time in the past. You are not specifying the time. This is majorly used in writing. We don't usually use it in everyday speech, but it's good you learn it. Now you're talking about when you say examples, I had eaten when my mom came back. We didn't say the time. We didn't say my mom came back in by 8 p.m., but I had eaten by then. You just say, I had eaten when my mom came back. You have given us information, but you did not specify the time. You can also say, I had eaten by the time the mailman brought in the mail. You have not specified the time, but you have told us, you have given us an information. Now you are telling us something that happened before another happened. You had eaten, something you did before your mom came back. And another action follows this one. So you're telling us which happened first. Now, the past perfect continuous. This is used for actions that happened in the past and continued, but finished at some point in the past. They happened in the past, but continued for a period of time, but then finished at some point in the past. Now, example, they had been traveling for 1 hour. Let's take, for instance, you were traveling and something happens on the road. Maybe the car got a flat tire. You can say they had been traveling for 1 hour before the car broke down. Now, this also is used majorly in writing. You don't usually use it in everyday speech. You use it more in writing. So they had been traveling for 1 hour before the car broke down. Or you can simply say they had been traveling for 1 hour. And we go to the future tense. Just like the present tense and past tense, future tense has 4 categories under it. So we have the future simple, the future continuous, the future perfect, and the future perfect continuous. Now, future tense. Future, it is talking about things that have not yet happened, things that are supposed to happen in the future. So, future simple. This is used for actions that are planned or unplanned for the future. You use words like will, want, going to, this is, or something like not going to for the negative. So this is used for actions that you have planned or you have not planned for the future. So something like, she will travel tomorrow, or I will travel tomorrow. Or you say, I want to buy a car, or I am going to buy a dress. So you use this for actions that are planned or unplanned. Now, for actions that are unplanned, you can say, I am not going to travel tomorrow, or she will not travel tomorrow. Now, the future continuous tense. Future continuous tense is used for actions that are not complete when another action happens. Now, let's take, for instance, you are traveling tomorrow, and somebody says, oh, I'm coming to visit you. You will now say, I will be traveling when you arrive. You haven't started traveling. You are still planning to, but you know that you will be traveling when whoever it is that is coming to visit you comes. So, I will be traveling when you arrive. Future continuous, it is used for actions that are not complete when another action happens in the future. You're talking about the future. Now, we move over to the future perfect tense. This is used for actions that we'll think will have started at some point in the future. Now, this tense is great for imagination. When you want to think about your future, you're thinking about things that would have started at some point in the future. You can say, I will have graduated. I will have taken my exams. You can say, I will have lived in Lagos for a year. It hasn't happened, but you are imagining it. Now, this future perfect tense for you if you want to imagine how your future will look like, this is the tense for you. Now, the future perfect continuous. This tense is used for actions that will or won't have started and will be continuing. This is used for actions that will or won't have started and will be continuing. So let's take actions that will have started, for example. Now you are studying, and you know that when you finish, you're going to get a job. So you say, I will have been working for 2 years. Now you're still working, and it's still continuing, that you will have been working. So you expect to keep working. That is why you say, I will have been working for 2 years. Now, remember, this tense is used for actions that will or won't have started and will be continuing. It is not about it starting or not. It is about it continuing. It has started and it will continue at some point in the future. Now, that is it for the future tense. Remember, we talked about the present tense, the past tense, and the future tense. And these tenses are subdivided into 4 categories. You have the present simple, the present continuous, or progressive. Don't forget, or progressive. So when you hear present progressive or the progressive tense, you don't get confused. It means the same as continuous. And then we have the present perfect, and then we have the present perfect continuous. The same goes for the past tense. We have the past simple, the past continuous, the past perfect, and the past perfect continuous. Now, tenses. Also remember that tenses are verbs that are used, are the way verbs are used to describe the time of an action. So you can say, if something is happening now, you say, I am doing this now. It's in the present. And if something is happening in the past, you say, it happened. If something happened in the past, you say, oh, this happened yesterday. For example, if you say, I am teaching. In our earlier example, I am teaching. Or, I am walking. That is the present tense. Or, I am running. It's in the present tense. Now you say, I went home yesterday. Past tense. I went to school yesterday. Past tense. I went to church yesterday. Past tense. And then you say, I will be going home tomorrow. Future tense. It hasn't happened, so it's still there. And then you have all of these tenses have 4 categories under them. Present simple, present continuous or progressive, present perfect, and present perfect continuous. The same goes for the past tense. You have the past simple, past continuous, past perfect, and past perfect continuous. And then you have future simple, future continuous, future perfect, and future perfect continuous. Now, all these tenses, when they say we have 3 types of tenses, remember that it is not wrong. You have 3 types of tenses, but these tenses are subdivided to give us a total of 12 tenses in the English language. So you have present tense, past tense, future tense. And all of these tenses have 4 subcategories under them. Now, that is all we have for tenses today. You should make sure that you practice your tenses to get better. The goal is for you to speak English and write English better. So practice on your own, make more examples, and also refer back if you have any confusion. So this has been Learning English, and I am Thekla. See you next time.